Hey, what's up, y'all? So today, I want to show you some stuff that's inspired by Hermanos Gutiérrez. They have this really cool instrumental Latin Western sound. It's usually just two guitars just playing as a duet. And there's three things that we can learn from this lesson that I think are going to be valuable to y'all. The first thing is this cool tone that they have with this vibrato and, you know, drenched in reverb type sound, which is really fun. And then this fingerstyle groove, which is really fun to play. They're adding all the percussion elements within the guitar. There's usually not even any percussion besides guitar stuff. And third is something that we called chord tone soloing. And that's where we're focusing on the chord tones to pick melody notes. I'll just play along with this for a minute. Using chord tone soloing. You'll kind of hear how it sounds. All the notes that I'm playing just sound, you know, right. And I'll explain it kind of as we go. The idea of chord tone soloing is where you have to know what the chords are going on in the background. And then you need to know your kind of triad shapes of those chords as the progression moves along. So what we're doing here is we're playing on C minor, and I'll show you these triads as they go through, but usually it's just kind of these 3-note voicings on the top 3 strings. The second chord is an F minor, and then the third chord is a G major, or you could play G7. So let's take a look at these C minor triads. These are the first 2 you should learn. Definitely 8th position one. And here's the F minor, flat across shape, and then the G triad. Put the pinky down for G7. So then there's this diagonal shape. Remember, there's 3 shapes for each of these chords. Now we can use this diagonal shape to play the F minor in this position. Try to keep it simple as I'm talking. Diagonal shape over C minor. Any of these notes sound good. Diagonal shape over F minor, it's in the 8th position. Okay, now let's do the straight across shapes for C minor. This is the 8th position now. Straight across shape F minor is in the 1st position. And for now, just keep going back to the G shape. Okay, so now we got diagonal shapes and straight across shapes. So you should practice kind of getting to the next shape that's like closest to where you just were. And that helps it kind of keep the vibe going, right? Let's talk about the G chord now. So we have the C. You can also add that melody note. Now we're on the F. The G goes by pretty fast, so we'll have to go real quick. Now here's the first one. G, G7, and then I just played this one. So next time it comes around, we'll do a different G7. We have this G here. I'll play, it's not gonna sound good at this point, but F, and then G, G7, G7, and then resolve back to this C minor. Now, one of the other cool things that they do is he'll kind of pick these patterns with his fingers like this. And he'll go through these triad shapes. Just using kind of a right hand picking pattern like this. The last thing I was playing on the G is I'm playing like a G triad, but then I'm playing what's called a flat G7 flat 9, which kind of has this diminished quality to it. Which means that you can substitute that diminished chord, if this makes sense to y'all, you can always substitute that diminished chord over the G7 chord, which would actually, it's a half step above where G is. So it's kind of G sharp diminished. That's another movement you can do, okay? The other thing I want to talk about is sometimes he also plays, you know, kind of just straight single note melody lines, and he's still following the chord progression. Let's try that this time. Okay. I'm playing C minor. And I'm trying to play notes that are from those chord tones. Okay, now I'm gonna find that F. Now for F, I'm gonna find the note, I'm picturing F minor triad. And then now I'm picturing see how this note comes from the F minor, and then this note comes from that triad. This is the scale. Oops. Now you can't play C minor the whole time because of that G major or G7 chord. It puts it into, you should be playing C harmonic minor. That's too complicated. Don't even worry about that. Just play, you know, C minor and F minor triads. But then when you get to the G, play that diminished thing or just follow those triads. And that's basically chord tone soloing. That's kind of the idea. And I forgot to show you the fingerstyle groove part. So this is really fun. I haven't listened to all of their stuff, but I've watched a few of their live performances on YouTube. And a lot of the stuff they play will be minor progressions. They're not always just as simple as this, but this is a great place to start. So minor progressions means minor chords. So this is a C minor chord. And what they'll tend to do is kind of play a bass, an alternating kind of bass pattern. So if the C minor chord, or if we're playing a minor chord that looks like this, then you're going to alternate the bass here. Okay? And then when you have a lot of that spring reverb, when you give it a slap like this, it has that cool sound. So I think you don't want to overdo it too much with the slap sound. You want to keep it as consistent as possible. Okay, so that's the C minor chord. And remember, you can start anywhere. And then wherever you start, if you start on the A string root, like with a minor chord, then the bass is just going to go bum, same fret. And you don't have to double it. You could also just go. If you're just starting off. But I think it kind of helps the groove a little bit if you get that. Now in between the bass notes, you're doing kind of a up pluck and then like a down strum with the fingers and then an up pluck again. Okay, let's go to the second chord. So this is the second chord that's going to be paired with this one. It's F minor. Okay, so if we're here, you just go down 2 frets and then over a string set fatter. So you're up on the 1st fret here. And here's F minor. And you're going to do the same thing. Just keep these fingers on the same 3 strings. And then alternating between this low string and the A string here. So it's a... And you can vary how much you give it to the chord and how much slap and stuff, so I'll play some variation. This is soft. This is more chord. Okay? And then finally, the last chord in this type of progression would be the 5 chord. Which here we're playing a G major or a G7 by releasing the pinky finger. And the alternating bass is still the same thing. And that resolves back to C minor. So that's the Fingerstyle Groove. It's pretty easy, it's pretty fun to play. If you've never done it before, it's not going to be super easy, but it's something that if you can do bar chords, it's going to come up a lot. So it's worth trying to get it down. I guess for kind of an ending, you can just slow it down like that. All right, finally, I want to show you the screen. Or finally, I want to show you what I'm using for the guitar sound. Basically, I just have a twang this is Guitar Rig 7. This isn't any better than any of the other guitar modeling softwares. It's just one example of them. So if you can just get some kind of classic sounding amp, this is Twang Reverb, which is, it's modeled from an amp from the 60s. It's just generic. It's nothing like exact copy or anything like that. But it does have some reverb on here, and I just barely have any reverb on this because I actually have most of the reverb coming from this tape echo unit, which you can see the verb is right here. And let's just go through the settings, what they sound like as let's turn them all off and just start at the top. So first I have, this is just the sound of the amp. Just normal, right? It's pretty dark sounding in my opinion. Now this amp actually does have vibrato built in, but I didn't think that that sounded right. I think the vibrato they use has a blend of chorus, which is why I used this instead. So although it does have a tiny bit of reverb, you can't really hear it that much. So next is this, it just matches with this cabinet emulation and a microphone. So that's all this part is. Without that, it sounds like this. So not that different. Third thing is the vented vibrato. So this is where you're getting all that cool vibe. So that wobbly sound, that's really cool. This is a blend of, you can see it's a blend of chorus and vibrato. So if I just did all vibrato, it's like that. And then if I did all chorus, it's kind of like that. Less obvious, I think. And then I did kind of a mix around right there or so. And this isn't exactly like theirs, but this is, I just wanted to show y'all what I'm using. Next is just a compressor. So that's not really, I guess that's boosting the volume a little bit, but it's also, it says it's taking off 10 dB of gain reduction, but with the makeup gain, it's not really noticeable. So that's, it just smooths out a little bit. It just smooths it out a little bit. And then finally, we have what gives it all of its flavor, I think, is this. This huge amount of tape or spring reverb. And without that, it doesn't do that cool percussion. Okay, so that's it. That's how I got the sound on this. So I hope this helps y'all out. If y'all like this type of video, please let me know in the comments and I can do a lot more like this. These are really fun for me, so I hope that it helps y'all out. Let me know and take care. I'll see you guys in the next one.